JCTV, where I try to bring out something going on in the community that you may not have heard about and that we can cover in a little bit of detail. Really an interesting segment today on some great stuff going on in the central part of our city, specifically over on what I call the south side, over on Dunklin Street. And my guests today are Steve Rollins and Larry Kolb. How are you guys doing today?
Doing fine, John.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate you spending a little time with me. I bumped into this presentation for the first time. I had heard a little bit about this project, but I bumped into it for the first time. I happened to be at a chamber board meeting, and you all made a presentation to the chamber board, and you had some interesting slides, and it really, it's just such a positive thing for our community. We're going to get right into it. Steve and Larry are working together on a project in the 100 block of East Dunklin, both sides of the street. Tell us kind of geographically where that is. What's there now?
Well, if you take the 100 block of East Dunklin, the best known place down there, two places probably are Bush's Florist on one side and Welcome Inn on the other side, all the way up to the Echo Lounge. We're mainly dealing with the East Dunklin from Welcome Inn up to the barber shop on that side as far as redoing all those buildings. We're also creating a National Historic District that's going to include Central Dairy and Bush's and the rest of that block.
Now, Steve, you and Larry actually, of the 6 property owners in that block, you and Larry have acquired 3 properties, right?
Yes, on the south side of the 100 block of East Dunklin, we've acquired 3 of the 6 properties. We actually have about 6 storefronts, 7 storefronts in there, but we've owned 3 of the 6 properties on that side of the street.
A lot of these things require, if not 100%, close to 100%. It's my understanding that you own some properties in that block, but the other property owners have been pretty cooperative, right?
We decided when we first started this project, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, that piecemeal and that just doing 1 or 2 or just a number of the properties would probably not accomplish what we wanted to accomplish, bringing this neighborhood back economically and physically. So we started meeting real closely with the other property owners of the properties that we didn't think we would acquire, and they've been 100% supportive, and they're actually spending their own monies to upgrade their properties at the same time.
You know, it's kind of a natural when you think about it. If there are properties right next to each other and you might be interested in spending a lot of money to upgrade it, you don't want to do that unless you have the security of your neighbor kind of being on the same wavelength, right? And conversely, when you're spending money on your property, it is immediately enhancing that neighbor's property value. So it just makes sense for everybody to be singing from the same hymnal.
It worked hand in hand in the summer of 2008. There was basically the 3 properties that we purchased were really in bad shape, vacant, needed to be done, and so we were able to assemblage, if you want to call the real estate term, assemble those together, and working with the other 3 property owners that wanted to keep their properties. We didn't form a partnership to do all 6 of them, but we formed a historic district that included everybody.
How much of a hassle is that historic district application? Is that I've heard some horror stories. How's it going for you?
It's been pretty time consuming. It's been something new to both Larry and I. Of course, Larry has a little more experience than I on commercial real estate development, but both of us are pretty much used to starting a project and jumping right into it. But we worked with a lady named Deb Shields out of Columbia. Who's probably the preeminent historic specialist in Missouri, and she's done great work for us. It's a little slow, but I think right now we're literally days away from getting final state and federal approval. So we've been able to do quite a bit of work up till now, but within the next 10 days we should be able to have free reign to do anything we want.
Well, that area is close to downtown. It's had some transitional issues. In my opinion, it's an area that could either succeed or fail miserably, and it sure sounds like we might be onto something here. Go ahead, Larry.
Yeah, I think as you talk about that, I think it had reached its failure point, because I mean, it's just the buildings were getting to be in horrible shape. The area was known as a drive-through area versus a destination area, and that's what we want to turn it back into. in the 40s and 50s. I mean, there was vibrant businesses down there. There was things going on. And